Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm bringing you my December reading wrap up, and it was actually a pretty good month in the end considering I slumped. However, I didn't slump as much as I usually do, so I don't know if I can really class it as a slump. So when I say I slumped, I really struggled to have motivation to read, and it is definitely because I didn't do a readathon. So I've learnt my lesson and I'm going to be back on readathons from January, which if you've seen my January TBR, you'll know what I'm taking part in. So I'm just going to crack on really. So I read 21 books in December. Now that might seem like a hell of a lot, but a lot of them were graphic novels and middle grade, so it's not as impressive as you might think. However, it was a total of 6,083 pages, so you know, still quite a lot. But we're just going to go through. There were 3 3-stars, 11 4-stars, and 7 5-stars. There was a lot of 5-stars in December. I picked my reading perfectly for what I did read. So let's get stuck in on what I read. So first up, I read Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. I started this series, I think, in 2020. I borrowed my friend's copies of these. Like Charlie has lent me the whole series, like one by one. So she can finally have her 3rd book back. But this got a 4-star. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed how the ending wrapped up. Whilst I'm still a little bit bitter about the fact that she didn't end up with the person I wanted her to end up with, I really liked how they worked around, like, I can't say anything without spoiling, but I really liked how they worked around things at the end, and I thought it was really well done. So it was a really good ending to a series, and that was a series done. I completed a series. Next up we have Iron Widow by Sharon J. Chow. I think I've pronounced that right. I loved this. This was a 5-star. I mostly read this for Rose Patreon book club for November, December, but honestly, I was hyped about this and wanted to read it anyway, so I probably would have got to it even if it hadn't been for her book club. But I'm really glad I did read it. It was incredible. Like, I loved the main character. She was absolutely amazing. I loved how she dealt with stuff, and I loved the bisexual rep in this. There was also poly rep, which I can't speak for, but the bisexual rep was amazing. And this hit my 2021 favourites of 2021. So, yeah. Next we had my 3rd read altogether of this book, but 2nd this year, and that's The Invisible Life of Addie by V. Schwab. It's no secret I love this book. I'm not really going to say anything other than it still got 5 stars, still cried like a baby at the end, and I still absolutely love this book to pieces. Next up, I finished another series and I read Daylighters by Rachel Kane. This is the 15th and final book in the Morganville Vampires series. I absolutely adore this series. There are a few books, as you'll see from my previous few months, where I wasn't a massive fan, but this one is the only one in the series that gets a 5-star from me. I absolutely adore it. It's a brilliant end to a series. I love the resolutions, and I just love everything about this book. It's incredible. Next up, I did it. I read Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, and this got 3-star, and it was a good 3-star, because you know how sometimes with a 3-star it can be a 3-star, or it can be a 3-star. This was a 3-star for me. I actually really enjoyed this. It was a bit slow going at the beginning, and I do honestly think it's because I have the hole in my brain. I did not like Assassin's Apprentice, but once I got into it, I really started to enjoy it, especially right near the end when, like, the last 40% of the book, just so much happened and it was just so mind-blowing, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I am looking forward to continuing the series now, which I couldn't say that when I read Assassin's Apprentice. So we're back on track with Robin Hobb. Next up, we had a book that I was hoping to get to in November for Believeathon, but did not, and it was a library book, so I don't actually have it now, but it is Eva Evergreen, Semimagical Witch by Julia Abe. This was a 4-star. Oh my god, this was so cute. I loved Ember, the little firefox thing. I loved Eva. The way she worked around her lack of magic was just genius for a 11-year-old, and I just loved how she dealt with everything. I loved the friendships she made, and I loved how like people learn to actually get to know her and not just judge her because she doesn't have as much magic as other witches. And it was just so adorable, and I loved it, and I'll definitely be continuing this series. Next up we have Xoxo by Axie O. This was one that I didn't plan on reading. It is based around a K-pop star, and I'm not a K-pop fan. Like, I like some K-pop music, but I wouldn't be able to like name you like many songs. It's more of it, if they come on, I like them. Like, if I like them, I like them. I'm going to be completely honest, the only reason I read this was because if you watch my A to Z of books I've read, X was the only letter I did not have a book for. And I noticed this was on Scribd as an audiobook. So I was like, we're going to complete this A to Z of books. So I like read this so that I could do that video completed. And I actually ended up loving this. This was a 4-star, and I'm actually regretting not buying the Fairy Loot edition of this when it was released, because I would definitely reread this book. It was just so fun. It gave me a real insight into how like K-pop bands work, and it was fascinating, and I actually really enjoyed learning about it. So yeah, who would have thought it? Next up we have Tinsel, The Girls Who Invented Christmas by Sybelle Pounder. I have had this one for a while, not necessarily the physical copy, but I got the e-arc before this was released last year. No, it wasn't last year, it was the year before, because we're now in 2022. This was released at the end, I think it was October 2020, and I got the e-arc for it on NetGalley and then just didn't get around to reading it at Christmas, and then was like, well, I need to save it for next Christmas. And then the paperback come out, so I was like, oh, I'm going to get the paperback. This was a 3-star. Again, it was a good 3-star. I felt like it could have had more, but at the same time, I don't know what. It just felt like there was something missing on it. But it was a really cute story, a cute twist on the story of Santa as well. And I really liked the twist. I really love Blanche Claus. I thought she was so adorable. And yeah, just the whole story in general was just really cute. And all the friends that they made along the way. And yeah, I really enjoyed this, and it's such a cute little middle grade to read at Christmas. Next up we had Christmassaurus and the Naughty List by Tom Fletcher. This is the 3rd book in the Christmassaurus series, and this was a 5-star for me. Now, I've seen quite a few people say that it's their least favourite of all 3. And I'm going to be completely honest, this might be my favourite out of the 3. The second one remains my least favourite, even though I still absolutely loved it. It is my least favourite out of the 3. And I am kind of torn between whether this one or the first one is my favourite now. But I really like this. I really love how Tom puts the names of children who are actually in his lives, like in his life, in this book. So his son Buddy is in this. 2 of his bandmates' children are mentioned in this, and it's just really cute. And I just loved how in this one, the whole like thing with this is getting kids off the naughty list. And it actually kind of reminded me of a TV show I watched when I was a kid on CITV called Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids. Because it would teach you like lessons on why you shouldn't be acting the way you're acting. It wasn't as gruesome as that show was, obviously, but yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it gave me that little bit of nostalgia, reminding me of that TV show, while at the same time it's just so Christmassy, and I absolutely love it so much. Next up we have 2 books I read on Boxing Day, and that is Santa Gets a Second Job by Michelle D'Ignazio. This is translated from Italian. I'm 99% sure it's from Italian. I'm gonna have a look. Italian. It was first published in Italy, and this was actually a really cute read. This got a 3-star. It was nothing like overly, I don't want to say special, because it was really cute. Basically, it's very large writing, there's lots of illustrations, and there's only 127 pages, so there wasn't enough of a story for me to make a like proper review. That makes no sense, but I hope you get what I mean. But from what there is, it is a really cute story. I really enjoyed it, and the ending is so heartwarming. I was just like, oh, it's a really cute ending. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. and I would recommend it, and it's perfect if you want just a quick read that you can read in like one sitting. Next up, we have The Christmas Carols by Mel Taylor Besant, and this got a 5-star. This was so perfect. I loved this book. This almost made my favourite book of the month, but not quite. I really enjoyed this. It was a cute story about a family who every day is Christmas for them, and then the oldest daughter has to start going to an actual school because they move house and everything, and she realises that not everyone acts like it's Christmas every day, and she has to try and adjust. And it's just a really heartwarming story about learning to like just be yourself, and I really loved the ending of this. It was adorable, and yeah. Next up, I finished another series. I was on it in December. So I finished the Spellslinger series finally, and I read Crownbreaker by Sebastian de Castell. It will not shock people that this got a 5-star. The whole series has not been a 5-star for me. A few of the books have been 5 stars, but then a few have been 4 stars. But this one was a 5-star. I loved how the whole series was wrapped up. I thought it was done really well. There was so much going on in the whole story, like the story as a whole. And I just thought it was just a perfect ending to a series. I continue to love all the characters. There were so many like adorable moments that if you're a fan of the series, you'll appreciate. And yeah, I'm so happy I finally read this. I've been putting it off because I didn't want the series to be over, but I felt like it was finally time that I needed to just read it, and I'm so glad I did. Next up, we have House on the Sir Lindsay by TJ Klune. Oh my god, why is it taking me so long to read this? So this was a 5-star. Just gonna put that out there now. It was a 5-star. I can definitely see where the hype on this comes from. I loved this so much. I will say that not enough people mention that this is a very character driven book, and I think the people that are disappointed by it are disappointed because they go into it expecting this like really like complex plot, and that's not the sort of book it is. It is very much a character driven book. Obviously there is a plot. I really liked the plot, and I liked how the plot did progress throughout the book, but it is a character driven book. You're reading it for the characters. You will fall in love with the characters. They are amazing. They're also different, and I just the imagination for this book was amazing. I'm so glad I finally read it. And I've said this a million times now, but thank you, Erin, for lending me your copy. I have now added the hardback to my wish list because I would quite like it. Especially how pretty this hardback is. I like this, but I have to give this back to Erin, so we move on. And then the rest of what I'm going to talk about for December was me trying to hit 200 books. So House on the Cerulean Sea took me to book 192, I think. And it got to the day before New Year's Eve, and I was like, no, do you know what? I'm doing 200. Even if I have to read just graphic novels, I am doing 200 books this year. So I went onto Scribd and I did exactly what I did last year. And I read some issues of Giant Days. So I read volumes 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 of Giant Days by John Allison. And I'm not gonna lie, I love this series. Don't read it for the plot. It is literally a slice of life comic series. Each of these volumes has 4 comics in it. So I read a lot of Giant Days on the 30th and 31st. However, I got to volume 10. I was halfway through volume 10. And Scribd did that thing where it limits you. So I then had to buy volumes 9 and 10 on Kindle or on Comixology. Luckily they were only like £1.59 each because I had to finish the volume I was on to log it as a whole book. So I did that, and then I was like, well, what am I going to do? Because I still need 3 more books for the year. All of Giant Days got 4 stars. They all got 4 stars each. And 2 of them got lower 4 stars because there is, in volumes 7 and 8, I can't remember the exact issue numbers, but there is a cheating thing going on, and I did not like it. I saw it coming and I didn't like it, and I'm trying to forget that existed in it. So they did get a slightly lower 4 star, but they still got a 4 star. So then after those, after like Scribd limited me, I picked up Lumberjanes Volume 1, which is by Noelle Stevenson, and then it's also got Ellis, Waters and Allen. But I love this art style. I loved it in Nimona as well, which is by Noelle Stevenson, and it's just a cute little camp. I can't remember the name of the camp. What's the name of the camp? I think it is just Camp Lumberjane or something like that, but I really enjoyed it. It's funny. I really like the characters, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't have any of the other volumes yet, but now I've read the first one, I'm definitely interested in continuing this. It also has monsters, so, and it's got a 4-star. Then I read Cardcap to Sakura Volume 2. I am still obsessed with how gorgeous these collector's editions are. I cannot get over them. I'm still loving this. Obviously, when I was a kid, I watched the TV show, and one of my favourite characters from the TV show has just come into this. So he's the rival character. And yeah, I had the massive crush on him when I was a kid. The nostalgia of this was just top notch. I loved it, and this got a 4-star as well. Very high on like on core pile. When I do graphic novels or comics, I rate writing as the art, and it's got very high because I absolutely adore the art style in this. And then the final book I read in 2021 was Buffy Volume 3, which is Geordie Belair. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this now, because from Volume 2 of Buffy, they've changed the artist and I don't like the art style, but I really like the story on this and I like where it's going, and I love that Kendra's just come into it, which Kendra doesn't come into the TV show till like a bit later. So I'm excited to continue this, and I will definitely be continuing this. I've kind of got used to the art style with this now. I really disliked it in Volume 2, but even though I still don't like it, I've sort of got used to it now, so we'll see. But that was my December 2021 reading wrap up, the last one for 2021. I hope you had a great reading month in December. Like I said, my favourite book of the month was I Am Widow. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite book of the month was. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.